The Ark of the Covenant of the Lord God with Israel had been taken into battle by the Israelites to protect them, but God did not protect them. The two priests who took it were killed, and the ark was captured by the Philistines. Then the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon, and set it by Dagon. And when the people of Ashdod rose early in the morning, there was Dagon, fallen on its face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. So they took Dagon and set it in its place again. And when they arose early the next morning, there was Dagon, fallen on its face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. The head of Dagon and both the palms of its hands were broken off on the threshold. Only Dagon's torso was left of it. Therefore neither the priests of Dagon nor any who come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy on the people of Ashdod, and he ravaged them and struck them with tumours, both Ashdod and its territory. And when the men of Ashdod saw how it was, they said, "The ark of the God of Israel must not remain with us, for his hand is harsh toward us, and Dagon our God." Therefore they sent and gathered to themselves all the lords of the Philistines, and said, "What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel?" And they answered, "Let the ark of the God of Israel be carried away to Gath." So they carried the ark of the God of Israel away. So it was, after they had carried it away, that the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. And he struck the men of the city, both small and great, and tumours broke out on them. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron. So it was, as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, "They have brought the ark of the God of Israel to us, to kill us and our people." So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines, and said, "Send away the ark of the God of Israel, and let it go back to its own place, so that it does not kill us and our people." For there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there, and the men who did not die were stricken with the tumours, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. Now the ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, "What shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us how we should send it to its place." So they said, "If you send away the ark of the God of Israel, do not send it empty, but by all means return it to him with a trespass offering. Then you will be healed, and it will be known to you why his hand is not removed from you." Then they said, "What is the trespass offering which we shall return to him?" And they said, 5 golden tumours and 5 golden rats, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For the same plague was on all of you and of your lords. Therefore you shall make images of your tumours and images of your rats that ravage the land. And you shall give glory to the God of Israel. Perhaps he will lighten his hand from you, from your gods, and from your land. Why then do you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts, when he did mighty things among them? Did they not let the people go, that they might depart? Now therefore make a new cart. Take 2 milk cows that have never been yoked, and hitch the cows to the cart, and take their calves home away from them. Then take the ark of the Lord and set it on the cart, and put the articles of gold which you are returning to him as a trespass offering in a chest by its side. Then send it away, and let it go, and watch. If it goes up the road to its own territory, to Bethshemesh, then he has done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that it is not his hand that struck us. It happened to us by chance. Then the men did so. They took 2 cows, and hitched them to the cart, and shut up their calves at home. And they set the ark of the Lord on the cart, and the chest with the gold rats and the images for their tumours. Then the cows headed straight for the road to Beth-shemesh, and went along the highway, lowing as they went, and did not turn aside to the right or to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them to the border of Beth-shemesh. Now the people of Beth-shemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, and rejoiced to see it. Then the ark came into the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh, and stood there. A large stone was there. So they split the wood of the cart, and offered the cows as a burnt offering to the Lord. The Levites took down the ark of the Lord, and the chest that was with it, in which were the articles of gold, and put them on the large stone. Then the men of Beth-shemesh offered burnt offerings and made sacrifices the same day to the Lord. So when the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. These are the golden tumours which the Philistines returned as a trespass offering to the Lord, 1 for Ashdod, 1 for Gaza, 1 for Ashkelon, 1 for Gath, and 1 for Ekron. And the golden rats, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 lords, both fortified cities and country villages, even as far as the large stone of Abel, on which they set the ark of the Lord, which stone remains to this day in the field of Joshua of Beth-shemesh. Then he struck the men of Beth-shemesh, because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. He struck 50,070 men of the people, and the people lamented because the Lord had struck the people with a great slaughter. And the men of Beth-shemesh said, Who is able to stand before this holy Lord God? And to whom shall it go up from us? So they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kirjath-jearim, saying, The Philistines have brought back the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up with you. My name's Arthur, and I thank you for joining me as we share these 2 chapters from 1 Samuel, chapters 5 and 6, where we see the remarkable story of how the Lord defended his name while allowing the children of Israel to be judged. The children of Israel had not been walking in the ways of the Lord. They were completely distracted by their own affairs, not helped by the fact that the priests, Hophni and Phinehas, were indulging themselves in wickedness rather than encouraging the people to trust the Lord. There were those who were faithful, worshipping the Lord, and the Lord accepted their worship despite the wickedness of the priests who delivered it. But it was time for a new beginning. The Lord had answered Hannah's prayer when she desired a son and promised to give him back to the Lord. And Samuel had been born and given to the Lord to serve the Lord at Shiloh, and the Lord had begun to speak to him. But when the Philistines arose, they didn't seek the prophet of the Lord. They turned to the wicked priests, who brought the Ark of the Covenant along with the army, thinking that God would protect the Ark. Well, God would protect the Ark, but he wasn't going to protect the wicked regime. So the children of Israel were severely judged by the Philistines. But the Philistines took the ark, and as we've read, they were judged too. God sent a tremendous plague. Every place where the ark was taken, from one Philistine city to the next, God brought this great plague. The details given of rats and tumours suggests the bubonic plague, which brought Black Death to Europe many centuries later. Large numbers of them died. And of course the God of the Philistines was humiliated before the God of Israel. And the people knew they were guilty because when these bad things happened, they immediately associated it with the Ark of the Covenant of God. They recognized that these things were happening because they had taken the Ark. And eventually they decided to return it. After consultation, returned it on a cart, pulled by 2 cows that had never pulled a cart, who have to leave their calves behind, but they do that. And so the Philistines know that it was God's judgment on them that brought death to them. The people of Beth-shemesh, though, they rejoice, they worship the Lord, but some do not honour God and look into the ark, and the Lord judges a large number of them. They call the people of Kirjath-jearim to come and take the ark. Who is able to stand before this holy Lord God? The answer comes in the Psalms. he who has a pure heart and clean hands.